Oh, hey there. Welcome back. Clearly a change of location today. We thought that might be a good way to answer yesterday's question, what is your favorite thing to do on a warm spring day? So after a brisk walk, here we are in beautiful Lake Park in front of the iconic North Point Lighthouse. I love it here. Oh, let's take a look at how you answered yesterday's question of the day while I head on back to the studio.
My name is Aaron Clevey, and my favorite thing to do on a spring day is to draw chalk. Basically, some chalk though. I may probably be like Rudy someday.
My favorite thing to do on a warm spring day is to run around.
My favorite thing to do on a hot spring day is play baseball.
Whoa, Jack, nice swing, buddy. Maybe we ought to start calling you Slugger. So it looks like a lot of you got outside yesterday. What did you notice? What did you feel on your face? Maybe the sunshine? The wind? How about what you saw? I saw lots of people out with strollers, on their bikes, even climbing trees. How about what did you hear? I know I heard a lot of birds, which brings us to our next question of the day. What is your favorite bird? And there are so many birds to choose from. There are the birds right outside your front door. There are tropical birds, or maybe you can come up with some imaginary birds. That's up to you. Oh, and remember how I said we had a new feature today? Well, please welcome our brilliant guest artist for today, Dan Augustine. Dan is going to show you around his home studio and then guide you through his creative process, focusing on, well, here's the new challenge. Drawing birds.
Hey folks, Dan here. I've been asked to do a bird drawing tutorial for you today, and considering how bad I am at drawing birds, who better than me to lead this discussion, right? So first things first, the idea here is just to have fun. This is how I draw birds. It doesn't mean you need to draw birds this way. I just want to give you a couple of cool tricks and tips that you can use to play in your sketchpad with. And yeah, the point is just to make time to play in your sketchpad. It's how I meditate. It's how I center myself. Maybe you do too. But so for starters, what we're going to do is we're just going to draw some really simple shapes. Okay. None of my birds fly. They're always just kind of standing around. So I like starting with a rectangle, or maybe even some sort of trapezoid. Maybe this guy is kind of leaning and looking up. As you just saw, I really love big eyes, big, beady, curious eyes. Then we just need to figure out kind of where his wing is going to go. And a beak. Of course, his tail feathers. Same over here. Maybe this guy can be looking skyward, like he wishes he was flying, but he's not. His tail feather can be pointed down. And yeah, that's it. That's how you draw a bird. It's a simple rectangle, some triangles, circle. That's it. Now, you can do this with all different types of tools. You don't need fancy inking markers or art supplies. I've done this actually with torn bits of paper, which is kind of cool. You can paint sheets of paper and glue them together. That's how I made these guys. I don't do a lot of work in watercolor, and so I thought it'd be kind of cool to do this exercise in watercolor today just to see what the effects were. So I did a little bit of work in advance, so we weren't waiting around for my ink to dry. Again, I just did some really simple shapes with a gray wash, sort of rounded rectangles and big eyes, and I thought we could finish it off and do some of the details together. So quick tip for you: if you're a righty like I am, you should always work from right to left. That way you're not running your hand over your finished work and smearing the stuff that you've done. If you're a lefty, obviously work from right to left. So let's start with this bird here on the left. He needs like I said, a big beady eye. That's kind of my jam. I love big curious eyes. And then he needs a beak, and let's give this guy like a really big beak. He can have maybe he's like some sort of weird toucan. Yeah. And then he needs the lower one. Right, and maybe his, maybe he can be like facing this way, so we'll put his tail feather over here too. That'd be kind of cool. So he's kind of in this weird posture. And then we can do some, what about some like head feathers? Maybe he's got some sort of cool, and then we can kind of wrap him up with, yeah, we'll give him some more feathers. These can be black. That's kind of cool. And I feel like maybe, where should his wing be? I think maybe we'll have his wing over here. So put one big wing here, and then some lines this way. Maybe he can just have some sort of cool stripes. We'll fill these in, make them nice and big and thick. Right? And again, you can use whatever you want. It doesn't need to be markers. If you're better off with a paintbrush, I can't hold a paintbrush very well. My hands aren't particularly steady. So I like doing these big thick lines and coloring them in. It makes my line work look a little bit better than it is in actuality. Maybe he just needs some dots too. So he's got kind of a neck crest, right? Oh, and we got to finish that beak. So just one quick line there. And yeah. All right, so there's bird number one. Bird number two. I think based on where bird number one is, this guy's going to have kind of a stubby, shorter beak. Give him his big blue eye. And yeah, maybe he can have more of a canary type beak. It's a little bit rounded on the top, and maybe his feathers up here kind of go this way. And I really like the way the black ones look as opposed to the blue ones. Looks like I need a thicker brush. Fill that in. You can see how careful I'm being, which is to say I'm not being careful at all when I do this. I just like the idea of these feeling a little bit more hand done. It doesn't need to be perfect. In fact, let's go back here and give this guy some more of a brushstroke type feel on that wing. Yeah, cool. And then he needs another wing, right? Maybe this wing can be coming this way. And we'll fill in a little bit of black on the bottom. And let's give him some, maybe a blue stripe on his wing. here. And then I think this guy's got more lines than he does little dots. So add those in. And we'll give him a big tail. And again, just really, really simple triangles. It doesn't need to be anything other than that. And you know what? I think we need some feathers. Feathers are rounded rectangles that are kind of curved. I'm totally breaking my rule about jumping all over the place. Let's do a couple of feathers over here. And then, so maybe there was just a bird fight and now they're all just hanging out and the feathers are falling. So that rounded rectangle, just going to draw a line through the center of it and a little bit of texture. Not a lot, just a little. Another one over here. Doesn't matter if we stay inside the lines or not. That's how you know that you did it yourself and it wasn't made on a computer. If there's a little imperfections in it, which I tend to really dig. All right, and then our last bird. Our last bird needs his eye. And maybe he's looking skyward, right? Like he wishes he could fly. But instead, the artist drew him on the ground where he's stuck. Can't fly. Let's see, a little line there. Nice. Looks like he's happy anyways. And I need to... He's got kind of a weird smirk. And he can have, how about his go backwards? Now again, I told you, I'm terrible at drawing birds. I've never seen a bird that looks like this in the wild. Drawing realistically isn't my bag, but I certainly love just playing and experimenting when I'm illustrating, right? So highly, highly, highly encourage you to do the same. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be amazing. It doesn't need to hang in a museum. It can just be for you. And he's got a tiny little tail, big feather because I ran out of space. And fill that in. And that's it. That is how you draw birds. So, I'm not sure how this is going to work, but you should totally take some pictures and some video of you drawing birds, and please post them in the comments section. And yeah, I would love to see what you're creating in your sketch pads. All right? Right on. Hey, thanks for sharing this time with me, and I hope I see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for sharing your talent and your time with us, and please, please come back. And how about the rest of you? Who is ready to draw some birds? I am so excited. You all have such amazing imagination and creativity, incredible illustrators. I'm really looking forward to this one. Oh, and remember, here is how you submit. We'll see you back here tomorrow because we're going to stay engaged and connected through creativity and through shared experience. We're here to bring light, love, and laughter to each and every one of your islands of brilliance.